Hi guys, today we are road tripping to one of my favorite places in France called Ile de Re. It's about 2 hours from Saint-Gilles-Croix-de-Vie. We got the car packed and off we go. I love road trips in France because you never know what you're gonna see. Like this old chateau, look at how amazing it is. I always marvel at these old structures and wonder what they used to be like and how they ended up this way. And 2 hours later, you'll get to the bridge. The bridge connects the mainland of La Rochelle to the island of Ile de Re. It was built in 1988, and it makes traveling to the island so much easier than taking the ferry. You pay your fee with a credit card. It's 16 euros round trip, and off you go. We got so lucky with the weather. There is like hardly a cloud in the sky, and after so many weeks of rain, the sunshine was such a welcome treat for everybody. We made it to Ile de Re. We are in the biggest city on Ile de Re, which is Saint-Martin-de-Re. This is where everything is happening. The restaurants, the hotels, the shopping. There's several villages on the island, but if you're a newcomer, this is a great place to start. My biggest piece of advice is as soon as you get to the island, ditch the car. There are a lot of public parking spots that you can find where you can park overnight, and everything within the villages is pretty much walkable. That's because the best way to see the island is on a bike. It's off to the hotel now to drop off our bags before we head on our bikes. The island is 30 kilometers long by 5 kilometers wide. Saint-Martin is the biggest city where everything's kind of happening, but there's other places to stay that I think are equally charming. There's really a village for everybody, depending on your personality. Normally we rent a house when we're here, but since we're only here for 24 hours, we're going to stay in a hotel. You can pick from luxurious 5-star hotels like this one. We're always very intrigued by it. I'm sure it's very expensive, but doesn't it look fabulous? We didn't opt for the 5-star hotel. Instead, we went a little further down the street to the 3-star hotel. We picked this hotel because it was right there on the port in the center of everything. And this will give you an idea of what a kind of basic 3-star hotel room would look like. There's a nice little terrace where you can have breakfast in the morning. And once we got to our room, which was basically a 2-bedroom suite that had 1 bed for us, the parents, a very simple basic bathroom, no shower, but a traditional French style shower, and another bedroom for the girls. It was perfect for one night. Now for something a bit spiffier that is also in town, I would recommend this place, La Baronnie. It's a 4-star hotel that also functions as a spa. It has the most incredible garden property, which is kind of nice if you're staying in the middle of Saint-Martin with all the hustle and bustle and you wanted a place to escape to. This would be the place. I didn't see the guest rooms, but I did see the brochure and it looks totally fabulous. I'm sure you'd be very comfy here. Okay, I'm all suited up. I've got my helmet on. I'm a big believer in helmets, even though a lot of the French do not wear helmets, including my husband. I can't convince him. I'm a big believer in it. I got my backpack and I got my electric bike, which I highly recommend because it's windy and we're going 19 kilometers to lunch. Let's go. We rented bikes at least a month in advance. I highly recommend reserving in advance. You don't want to show up the day of and hope for a bike. This year we came to Ile de Re with a group of friends, and it can be a bit challenging biking with a group of 7 people. This is why it's best that everybody sticks together and nobody gets left behind, or you can have people waiting for you for hours. This is one of the reasons why we've always put our littlest daughter on one of these tandem bikes, just so we don't lose her. Even though she's 10 years old, she still loves to ride on the back of Papa's bike. The bike paths on Ile de Re are beautifully maintained. You will see some of the most stunning scenery of the island. You'll cross little bridges, ride through vineyards. Sometimes you'll also see mini ponies you can stop and see, or some of the donkeys. And whenever we see them, we always stop for the donkeys. These bike trails hold some of my most cherished family memories. We've had so many good times on them. So today's bike trip started in Saint-Martin and we rode all the way to the other side of the island to the lighthouse, otherwise known as Le Phare des Baleines. And we were certainly happy to see the lighthouse once we arrived. So many cute little shops you can take a look at. Look at these baskets, aren't they fabulous? You'll find a lot of local things that are being sold, like the salt, which comes right from the producers. You can get big bags of it or small bags of fleur de sel, which make for great gifts. You can always tell it's getting close to lunchtime when you start to see the bikes piling up. You also see a lot of donkeys here and there. So donkeys are kind of like the local mascot of Ile de Re, mostly because of the soap that's made from their milk. It might seem like a strange thing to make soap out of, but I'm telling you, it is the most beautiful soap that comes in some of the most lovely fragrances. It's always something that I make sure I buy every time I come to Ile de Re. All the biking certainly made everybody very hungry. What is this? The three men having burgers in France? I, on the other hand, got the salmon. Totally ready to dive into this. Looks so delicious. I never miss an opportunity to order fish in this part of France because it is always so fresh and delicious. My salmon was put on a bed of couscous with simmered vegetables, and of course, it was cooked to perfection. And of course I had to order dessert. I mean, with all this biking, it's a great excuse to indulge, right? And these days in France, I always look for the Café Gourmande or the Thé Gourmande, which is a fun coffee dessert idea that basically comes with little miniature desserts served with your coffee or tea. I had a delicious brownie with some whipped cream, a salted caramel panna cotta that was insanely delicious. Look at that texture. I also got a little scoop of ice cream, a cookie, and then a spice cake that sort of tasted a little bit like gingerbread. It was so yummy. Then it was time to get back on our bikes and head back to town. One of the things I love about the bike pass is it allows you to ride through the salt marshes, which is really fascinating and something you can't see very well from a car. And the best part about driving through the salt marshes is stopping at the Auto Boutique, or the Salt Boutique. You'll see these little self-serve boutiques spring up along the bike path, and you can get all kinds of fleur de sel, the big gray salt. You can find condiments made with this salt, all different types of things for the barbecue. But of course, the real crowd pleaser are all of the products made with salted caramel, like the little caramel tins you can get with the donkeys on it. You can get salted caramel lollipops, the salted caramel sauce for your crepes. And because my girls have stopped here a few times, they definitely don't have any problem choosing.
Here is my favorite thing that we were still getting. Yes. Chocolate.
I remember those. These boutiques function on the honor system, so you get your price, you go to the autocaisse or the self-serve checkout, you put your money in the little box, give yourself some change if you need to. My favorite thing is the sign. Entrance to the boutique is forbidden to all of those with reduced morality. All right, just for a little more strength, I'm going to try the salted chocolate. Oh my gosh, that was so good. It'll give me the energy I need to make it another 10 kilometers to the beach. There are a lot of different beaches along the bike path you can choose from. We usually like to stop at the one at Couarde because there are lifeguards and restrooms. We finally made it to the beach. This is the big reward after a really long bike ride. The beaches on Ile de Re are really beautiful. It's low tide here, but it is so refreshing. We can't wait to just jump right in. Low tide is actually the best time for swimming because you pass all the rocky parts and you just have the beautiful sand underneath. That is the best way to ride home, nice and wet. On a windy day, you'll also see a lot of kite surfing. Yeah, everybody is cruising. It just shows you how windy it is. The interesting thing about the lifeguards in France is that they actually stay on the sand, patrolling the area, walking the coast with their fins in case they need to jump in to make a rescue. Which is different from where we're from in California, where we're typically used to seeing them sitting up high in spiffy little cottages. We are back in town and Saint-Martin-de-Re is really heating up with the French apero. It's time to get showered and changed and off to dinner. Right at sunset is my favorite time to be here. It's so beautiful. Everybody's dressed, ready for dinner. There are little night markets and shops that you can look at. The sun sets, and it's a great place to have a drink and catch some dinner. There are so many wonderful little spots right there in Saint-Martin where you can kick the evening off with drinks and appetizers. We're on the port having our drinks. I'm trying some of the local wine. It looks delicious. It's a Chardonnay, so all of those vineyards that we rode through, this came from that. It's delicious. It's dry, it's crisp, it's so good. You don't need to be so close. The only thing about having drinks or dinner here at the harbor is a lot of these places are not full. So look at that. One false move and in you go. So it's best not to have too many Chardonnays. One of the things we love to do after dinner is walk through the city. The sun doesn't set this time of year until about 10 o'clock, so it's really beautiful to see all of the different old architecture and the way that the light casts the shadows upon them. It's also the opportunity to get some dessert. So of course my kids will always point out the sweet truck, which is always an option. But really, in my opinion, you cannot leave Ile de Re without sampling some of the local ice cream. And the best place to go, in my opinion, is La Martinière. It is an institution. But what I like to do is to come over here at the corner where they serve the soft serve ice cream. And my favorite is the vanilla and salted caramel. It is fantastic. The lines are always shorter for the soft serve ice cream, maybe because there's less flavors to choose from, but in my opinion, the salted caramel is all you need. This is what it looks like. It is so delicious. It's salted caramel ice cream swirled with vanilla, and it is the most delicious thing. It's a great after dinner treat. It's really a wonderful way to spend the evening, to walk down the streets with your ice cream and see which shops are open. This shop was still open and was selling some espadrilles. Not all the shops are open, so I also think it's fun to just walk down some of the cobblestone streets just to appreciate the architecture. One of the things I love about Ile de Re are all of the beautiful flowers that grow up alongside the buildings. They're called rose trémière, and they're really known for this part of France. The funny thing about them is they grow in like the most minimal amount of dirt. But the funniest thing happened to me as I was walking back up the street. I heard my name being called.
Are you Beth?
Yeah.
We love.
All right, hang on. Okay, now walking down the street of Ile de Re after I got my ice cream, look who I ran into. Some fans. Hi!
We are big fans.
For a long time.
This is such a good cook.
Oh, well, you're so human. Where are you from?
We are from Versailles.
You're from Versailles.
Yes.
Amazing, where the castle
Absolutely.
is. Do you visit often?
Yeah. We spend all of our time in the park. We've been living next to the king for years.
Now tell everybody about Ile de Re. If they haven't been here, what do you love about it? Why is this a great place?
It's very special because in a small island you have many villages, and each village has a very typical character. Well, maybe you don't say character, I don't know.
Yes, you do, absolutely.
Yeah, and
You can bike around everywhere, and what's really nice is that you can always find kind of typical foods everywhere you're going, and eat a lot of seafood, and walk along the seaside, and you can bicycle
and you don't have to take a car.
There's no mountains or anything to climb to, so you can bicycle everywhere, and that's really lovely.
If they're to come here, what do they need
French,
to do? Yes.
in general.
Yes.
That's a tricky
We're very
question.
specific about our food. So
Yes,
each
that's
place
the best
has very specific foods, and we love it when foreigners come and always want to try things that are typical and are very curious about trying out new foods. So yeah, seafood here is a big thing, especially oysters.
Yes,
With
of
champagne.
course.
Yes.
Well, that was such a treat. I don't often run into subscribers, so when I do, I'm always so amazed at how many corners of the world YouTube has the power to reach. Well, it was time to connect back with my family and head back to the hotel. We certainly put in a long day, and it was time to head to bed. We slept like babies after our 40-kilometer bike ride yesterday. Now it's time to head into town and get a little breakfast. Things in Saint-Martin really don't get going until about 10 o'clock. That's when the shops open. But I find the early morning is a great opportunity to walk through the streets and see all the shops without hundreds of tourists crowding the streets. Because once things get hopping, they really get hopping. And you've got tourists and dogs and bikes and everybody in these streets. So it was back to the port for breakfast, and for €7.80, you're going to eat pretty well. The port is such a great choice for breakfast because it's really where you start to see the city wake up and come to life. You have people on the dock that are walking their dogs. You see the boats coming in and out of the harbor, ready to dock. Moms and dads, if you have little ones with you traveling, this is a great place to keep them entertained during the meal. There's so much to look at. They never get bored. And the breakfast comes on these individual trays that's typically used to serve two, and it keeps everything nice and tidy. We have croissant, some baguettes, jus d'orange, and here's my favorite little thing that you see sometimes in different cafes is they give you the cup, right? Then you have the coffee in the pitcher, and you pour the coffee, and then you have the milk, the hot milk that you're gonna add. And that way you can choose how much milk to how much coffee. I think this is the start to a really great day. And for the kids, you have the chocolat chaud, or the hot chocolate. Do you want me to pour that for you, sweetheart?
I think I got it.
Okay, that's gonna be super hot. Yeah. Sometimes they just need to learn the hard way. After breakfast, the shops were open and it was time to do a little bit of shopping. One of the nice things about shopping on Ile de Re is a lot of the shopkeepers will have a good amount of merchandise outside the shop, so you can kind of see what they have before going inside. I think this adds to a really nice liveliness to the city when you can walk through and see all of the different baskets and small things for the home, clothing. I mean, there's really no lack of options. I thought, and everybody's making fun of me, but I think this will be very useful by the pool. It's a little dress that you put on, and it's made out of terry cloth. So the fabric is like a towel. So I was thinking after the pool, I would just slip this thing on and be super comfy. After buying just a few more souvenirs to take home, it was time to wrap up our visit. Well, that includes our 24 hours in Ile de Re. I hope you guys enjoyed the visit. I hope one day you do end up coming here because it's such a fabulous place. It's too great for 24 hours, but that's all we have because I got to get back to Saint-Gilles-Croix-de-Vie. I have 16 people coming for dinner tomorrow night. And I have no idea what I'm making, so we got to go get organized. See you next time. Until then, bye.